Hey everybody, Daniel from Spacedock here, and I want to talk about naming science fiction series. The way I see it, giving a work of fiction a name is an opportunity to bake all of the themes and implications down into as small a word or phrase as possible. And it's a very important mission statement for a piece of storytelling. It's the same reason why I love episode titles from science fiction TV. Often Alistair will be baffled as to how I can remember the names of a specific episode of Battlestar Galactica or Stargate, but oftentimes it's because they so perfectly encapsulate the themes of that episode, or even just have a really powerful and memorable title. But naturally, the name of an entire science fiction series is more important, and what I think it's important to avoid is nailing yourself down to a certain aspect of your story with your name, even if you have no intention of telling additional stories beyond the central plot of the series. I think tying the title down, especially in science fiction, to an aspect like the Battlestar Galactica, for instance, makes the world feel like it is in service of the story rather than the story happening within the world. It damages the depth. The game Battlestar Galactica Deadlock features the Battlestar Galactica for all of about 15 minutes, and yet it's prominently featured in the title because now anything anybody wants to do in that world has to have that ship's name in the title. When it looked like the Galactica might finally be destroyed at the start of Season 3 and replaced by the Pegasus, we knew that it wouldn't be because the series was called Battlestar Galactica. I think the title of a series should be far more open-ended and all-encompassing than a specific reference to something in-universe, and I have a bunch of great examples that have been used in the past. I'm going to start with Mass Effect. This is a very, very clever title. Not only does it refer to the unobtainium stroke pseudoscience method within the universe, which is something that is a universal constant in the series, and will be regardless of what stories are told in any period in this world, but it's also a clever allusion to the central theme of the series, which is choices, small decisions and dominoing larger effects, Mass Effect. Again, this title is a statement of intent, and instead of being called Shepard or Normandy or referring to a specific aspect of the main story, it refers to the two things that will always be there: the central theme of difficult decisions and the Mass Effect phenomenon itself that allows interstellar travel in this world. Brilliant title. An interesting, if kind of all-purpose one, is Star Wars. Now this is a title that is so vague and all-encompassing that you can basically pin any story you like in this world to it, so long as there is, has been, or will be a war, which I expect there always will be. The strangest thing about it, though, is how it was chosen, because I have to assume that George Lucas initially thought he was making a film, and then 3 films, about the Galactic Civil War. We're all very lucky that he didn't call it Star War, because that would have curtailed storytelling quite a bit in future. It seems that even just the tiny reference to the Clone Wars in Episode 4 was enough for this wider title, or perhaps he did intend all that time ago to have such a large world spawned from this idea. Either way, the addition of that plural allows this to be a vast and endless sci-fi world rather than a story about this particular war. Its companion in the twin mega franchise of science fiction is Star Trek, which is a title that has kind of faded into acceptance as a just sort of universal fact of science fiction, but when you really think about it, it's a very strange title. I understand the theme they were going for here. It's about exploration, it's about discovery, but why Trek? Trek to me is not an exchangeable word for voyage. Trek refers specifically to the action of walking. This title is synonymous with space hike or solar bimble, and it seems to have escaped any kind of close analysis after all these years. In fact, the kind of vague and strange nature of the title may actually have helped it. If the series was called Space Voyage, for instance, then I expect there would be a lot more people crowing about how it doesn't connect with Deep Space Nine and how that series is in violation of the main stated goals of the franchise. But the vague term Star Trek has just become the name of this universe and nothing else. Perhaps just a byproduct of the series having existed for so long. A title that I think does a better job of communicating tones of exploration and discovery and the unknown is Farscape. Farscape is a classic kind of made-up sci-fi word by combining various other words, and it does sound very, very cool. In universe, it refers to the Farscape project that trapped John Crichton inadvertently in the unknown areas of the galaxy. It also refers to his module, Farscape 1, which is his last connection to Earth and to his old life, and it very firmly states the intended goal of the Farscape story, which is to depict a stranger in a distant land, in an alien environment that he couldn't possibly understand, with bizarre creatures, unknowable politics, great danger. Farscape's goal was always to show the truly alien, and its title is very, very appropriate for that. Now, this may be a very little surprise to you, but I'm now going to sing the praises of The Expanse once again, because I think this might have the best title of any major sci-fi IP I can think of. It doesn't commit itself to anything to do with the specific story. It's not called Rocinante or or James Holden, and this is in spite of the fact that James S.A. Corey have made it very clear that they don't intend to do prequels in this world, or series set in different eras of the same world, but they still felt the need to make sure that the name of the series was a description of the themes of the universe rather than the specific elements of the story. In this case, The Expanse is about distance. It always has been. It's about disconnection, and it's about a true depiction of the vastness of space. All the way through the series, we're hit with the ideas of massive travel time, being adrift, being between places, fighting for and identifying by worlds and homes that are huge distances away that they haven't seen in years. The Expanse feels expansive, and I can't think of a better title for this series. And then also we've got Warhammer 40,000, which is a perfectly appropriate title because it's big, cumbersome, and incredibly angry sounding. The closest they could get to calling it Violence, Wars, Murder Quest, while maintaining a shred of artistic integrity. Thank you for listening. This is Daniel from Spacedock, signing off. Thank you for watching Spacedock. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please do check out the links on the screen right now or in the description below for our Patreon and channel membership services. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving our team and our equipment and allowing us to put together bigger and more exciting video projects for you guys on the channel.